Stop right there before you spend another single penny, because what I'm about to show you could be sitting in your pocket right now, and you wouldn't even know it. These are not just coins. This is hidden wealth, silent fortune, the kind of money people accidentally throw away every single day. Nobody talks about these, but collectors, they're fighting behind closed doors, paying insane prices after real auction shock moments. I'm warning you, do not spend these coins. Seriously, check your pocket now, check your jar, check your car, because the 3 wheat pennies in this video, each one gets rarer, scarier, and more valuable. And the last one, it changes everything. You've probably seen this coin 100 times. Maybe even ignored it, tossed it aside, or worse, spent it without thinking. But the 1920 wheat penny with no mint mark is one of those silent sleepers that doesn't scream value, it hides it. And that's exactly why it's dangerous. Because this coin doesn't look special at first glance. Slightly worn, maybe dark, maybe even dirty. But that ordinary look, that's exactly what has tricked thousands of people into losing a small fortune without even realizing it. Now here's where things get serious. The year 1920 wasn't just another year in American history, it was a moment of economic pressure right after World War I. The country was shifting, industries were strained, and the US mint was under pressure to produce coins quickly to meet demand. That rush, that stress, it created inconsistencies, heavy die wear, and subtle variations that collectors today obsess over. This wasn't a calm, perfect minting year, it was chaotic. And chaos creates rarity. Take a closer look at this coin and you'll start to feel it. The obverse, Abraham Lincoln's portrait, may appear softer than usual in fine condition, with details slightly worn down, especially around the hair and cheek. But that's not damage, that's history. Above him, "In God we trust," still whispers through time, while liberty and the date 1920 cite quietly, often overlooked. No mint mark beneath the date means it came from Philadelphia, and that absence, it matters more than most people realize. Flip it over, and the reverse tells a different story. The wheat ears on both sides frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum sitting at the top. But here's the thing. In fine condition, those wheat lines may be partially worn, blending into the surface. And collectors, they don't just see wear, they see authenticity. They see a coin that survived over a century without being destroyed, melted, or lost forever. This coin is made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, a composition that gives it that deep, rich tone over time. And when you hold it, it feels different. Around 3.11 grams in weight, about 19 millimeters in diameter, and a thickness just under 1.5 millimeters. The girth is small, yes, but the presence, heavy. Because you're not just holding metal, you're holding a piece of economic history that most people completely overlook. And here's where most people make a massive mistake. They see dirt, darkness, or toning, and they clean it. That single decision can destroy the value instantly. Collectors don't want shiny, they want original. That aged surface, that natural toning, that untouched look. It's proof the coin hasn't been tampered with. Clean it, and you erase its story. You erase its value. Never clean this coin. Ever. What makes this 1920 penny even more rare today is survival. Think about it. Over 100 years of circulation, war, economic crashes, people spending them without care. Very few made it through in fine condition without heavy damage. And that's why collectors don't just buy these coins, they hunt them. Quietly, aggressively. Sometimes they don't even sell them once they get one. They hold, they wait, because they know supply is shrinking, and demand is only rising. At auctions, this coin doesn't always make noise, but when the right collectors see it, the room changes. Bidding becomes tense, quiet, strategic, because everyone knows this is not just a penny. This is serious money hiding in plain sight. Today, a 1,920 wheat penny with no mint mark in fine condition has reached auction values around $278,000. Let that sink in. That's not pocket change. That's a life-changing opportunity most people miss. So what should you check first? Look at the date, 1920th, then check under it. No mint mark. Study the surface. Is it original, untouched, naturally aged? Don't rush. Don't assume. And whatever you do not spend this coin. Because once it's gone, it's gone. And patience, that's what turns something small like this into real wealth. But if you think this one is shocking, what comes next is on another level entirely. The next coin isn't just rare, it's the kind of coin that makes collectors nervous, because almost nobody finds it, and the few who do never forget it. Most people don't lose money in big dramatic ways. They lose it quietly, one tiny mistake at a time, like handing over a simple penny in change, not realizing that small copper coin could have changed everything. The 1,928 wheat penny with no mint mark is exactly that kind of trap. It blends in, it looks harmless, it feels ordinary, but underneath that worn surface is something collectors recognize instantly, a silent fortune, hiding in plain sight. And if you're not paying attention, you will spend it without a second thought. Now step into 1,928 for a second. America was standing on the edge of something massive. The economy looked strong on the surface, but underneath, pressure was building before the Great Depression would hit just a year later. The U.S. Mint was pushing production to keep up with circulation demand. And that pressure created subtle inconsistencies, worn dies, softer strikes, and coins that didn't come out as sharply defined as earlier years. That tension, that moment before everything changed, it lives inside this coin. When you look at the front, Abraham Lincoln's portrait tells the story. In fine condition, his features aren't razor-sharp. The hair detail is slightly flattened, the cheek is smoother, and the jawline blends softly into the field. But collectors don't see weakness there. They see survival. Above him, "In God We Trust," still stretches across the top, sometimes faint, but still present, while "Liberty" and the date 1,928 sit to the sides. And here's the detail most people miss. There's no mint mark under the date. That means Philadelphia. That absence is not empty, it's a signal. Flip the coin, and the reverse pulls you deeper. The wheat ears stand tall on both sides, framing 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum resting above. In fine condition, those wheat lines begin to merge, losing their sharp edges, creating that soft, aged texture collectors love. It doesn't look perfect, and that's exactly why it's valuable, because perfection fades, but originality survives. The composition is classic wheat penny, 95% copper with a mix of tin and zinc. Over time, that copper develops a deep brown tone, sometimes almost chocolate-like, sometimes uneven with darker patches. That's not damage, that's character. The coin weighs about 3.11 grams, measures roughly 19 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness close to 1.5 millimeters. Small, light, easy to ignore. And that's why people lose it. Because nothing about its size warns you that you're holding something this powerful. But here's where things get dangerous. A lot of these coins didn't survive. They were spent, melted, damaged, or cleaned by people who thought they were improving them. Cleaning is the fastest way to destroy this coin's value. That original toning, that slightly dirty, aged surface, that's what proves authenticity. Once you wipe it, polish it, or try to fix it, the collector interest drops instantly. Never clean this coin, not even a little. And collectors, they are obsessed with the details most people ignore. They look at the spacing of the letters, the softness of the strike, the exact tone of the copper, the presence or absence of tiny marks. They don't rush. They study, because they know something most people don't. Coins like this are disappearing. Every year, fewer original examples exist, and the ones that remain, they're being locked away in collections, rarely seen again. At auctions, this coin creates a strange kind of tension. It's not loud or flashy, but when it appears, serious collectors pay attention. Bidding becomes calculated, almost quiet, like everyone in the room understands the weight of what's in front of them. This is not hype. This is not fiction. This is real demand for something most people would overlook in a heartbeat. Today, the market value for a 1,928 wheat penny with no mint mark in fine condition has reached around $247,000. That's the kind of number that doesn't feel real until you realize people are accidentally spending these coins every single day. That's why this matters. That's why you need to check. So what should you do? Start simple. Look at the date, 1928, then check below it. No mint mark. Examine the surface under good light. Is the toning natural? Does it feel untouched? Don't rush to sell. Don't assume it's worthless. And most importantly, do not spend this coin, because once it leaves your hands, you may never see something like it again. Professional grading is critical here. Without it, you're guessing. With it, you unlock the true potential of the coin. And patience, that's where the real money is made. The collectors who wait, who hold, who understand the market, they're the ones turning small finds into serious wealth. But don't get comfortable yet, because the next coin makes this one look easy to find. What's coming next is the kind of wheat penny that almost feels unreal. The kind people search for their entire lives and still never see. Stay with me, because this is where it gets even more intense. This is the coin people laugh at until it's too late. Because the 1,938 wheat penny with no mint mark doesn't look rare, it doesn't feel rare, and it definitely doesn't warn you before you lose it. It's the kind of coin that slips through your fingers at a gas station, disappears into a cash register, and just like that, a hidden treasure is gone forever. Most people miss this, and that's exactly why it's so dangerous to ignore. Now think about 1,938 for a second. America was still recovering from the Great Depression. Industries were rebuilding, and money was tight. The US Mint wasn't operating in comfort, it was operating under pressure, trying to produce enough coinage for a nation slowly getting back on its feet. That pressure created something collectors understand deeply: inconsistent strikes, worn dies, and coins that carry the marks of a struggling economy. This wasn't just another year, it was a survival year, and this coin carries that story. When you look at the front of the coin, Abraham Lincoln's portrait feels softer, in fine condition. The sharpness you'd expect isn't fully there. The hair detail is slightly flattened, the cheeks smoother, the overall look aged but honest. Above him, "In God We Trust," stretches across the top, sometimes faint but still readable. Liberty sits on the left, and the date 1938 on the right. And right below that date, nothing. No mint mark. That empty space means Philadelphia, and collectors pay close attention to that absence. Turn it over, and the reverse design pulls you deeper into its quiet story. Two wheat ears frame the center, surrounding 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum at the top. In fine condition, those wheat lines begin to blur together, losing their crisp edges, creating that soft, worn texture that signals age and authenticity. It doesn't shine, it doesn't sparkle, and that's exactly why collectors trust it. This coin is made from 95% copper, mixed with tin and zinc, a composition that ages beautifully over time. That's why you'll often see deep brown tones, sometimes uneven, sometimes darkened with patches that look like dirt. But here's the truth. That dirty look is value. That's original toning. That's proof the coin hasn't been tampered with. The weight sits around 3.11 grams, the diameter about 19 millimeters, and the thickness just under 1.5 millimeters. Small enough to ignore, powerful enough to change everything. And this is where people make their biggest mistake. They find a coin like this, think it looks old and worn, and try to clean it. That single move can erase thousands of dollars instantly. Never clean this coin. Never polish it. Never try to improve it. Collectors want originality, untouched surfaces, natural toning, real history. Once that's gone, the value drops, sometimes permanently. What makes the 1,938 wheat penny so rare today isn't just age, it's survival. These coins lived through decades of circulation, economic struggle, and careless handling. Many were lost, damaged, or melted down. The few that remain in fine condition with original surfaces are becoming harder to find every single year. And that's why collectors don't hesitate when they see one. They move fast, but quietly. At auctions, this coin creates a different kind of energy. It's not loud or flashy, but there's tension in the air when it appears. Bidders don't joke, they don't relax, they calculate. Because they know this coin isn't just another wheat penny. It's a piece of history that survived when so many others didn't. And once it's sold, it often disappears into private collections, locked away for years. Today, this 1,938 wheat penny with no mint mark in fine condition has reached market values around $253,000. That's serious money hiding inside something most people wouldn't even pick up off the ground. This is not fiction. This is real. And the scary part, people are still spending these coins like they're worthless. So here's what you need to do. Check the date, 1938, look under it. No mint mark. Study the surface carefully. Does it have that natural aged tone? Does it feel untouched? Don't rush. Don't assume. And most importantly, do not spend this coin. Because once it's gone, you're not getting it back. Professional grading is critical. Without it, you're guessing. With it, you unlock the real story of the coin. Its authenticity, its condition, its true place in the market. And patience, that's where the real wealth builds. The collectors who wait, who understand timing, who don't panic, they're the ones holding silent fortunes while others keep losing them. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. The coins that could change your life don't look special. They don't shine. They don't stand out. They hide in plain sight, in your pocket, your drawer, your car, your old jars of change. And every single day, people are spending them without even knowing what they had. You've just seen 3 wheat pennies that look ordinary but carry extraordinary value. Hidden wealth, silent fortune, life-changing opportunity. And now you know, which means from this moment forward, every coin you touch matters. So before you spend another penny, stop. Look at it. Check it. Because the next coin you find might not just be rare, it might be the one that changes everything. And if you think this was shocking, the next video goes even deeper. Coins that are rarer, more valuable, and almost impossible to find, but still out there, waiting. Stay ready, because this hunt is just getting started.